Hey there, Squirrel Army. How's it going for today? Nathan Julian contacted me on Instagram and asked me to do a deck for them on Merieke Ri Berit. So I decided to, when I decided to make that deck, I decided to ask them, hey, is it okay I do a video on the deck? And they said, yes, it's fine. So I'm going to share with you the deck that I made for Nathan here today.
You can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing.
Alright, so here is the list. Now, before I get going on into the list, and even before I say check the comments and all that, I have changed the list, so, Nathan, if you're watching, yeah, I have changed it a bit from the list that I sent you. I did take a little bit of inspiration from some of the cards that you actually added to the list that you showed me what you thought you should put in the list. But I also looked through some more cards, and if you are watching as well, a lot of the cards that I'm going to discuss in this are some cards that I would suggest that you think about at least putting in, because most of them are pretty good. Yes, the budget on this has gone way up from what we discussed. So, yes, it's not the most budget list, but obviously you can proxy and you can buy things slowly, etc. So, yeah, there is that. So, anyway, getting along with it, I won't talk about all the cards because there's just no point, but I will talk about some of the key synergy cards. But if you guys aren't really interested in seeing me discuss the actual list and whatnot, what's going on and all that sort of stuff, you get the idea. You just kind of want to test this deck out and play it for yourself and see what there is in that you might want to change or whatever. Just check the comments down below. There should be a deck list down there below. So you can check that out and do what you will with it. So I won't talk about the ramp or the lands because it's pretty stock standard for the most part in terms of what's in here. We've got a few card advantage cards. I think there's a few more that are in here as well. I even think Rogues classes, a lot of the theft stuff is also our card advantage because we steal opponents' stuff. So there's a few that are in here that I haven't actually listed in the right section, but I just took it from the list from before, and added a few things here and there, and some things are in the right place, but some things aren't. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. I added actually a bunch of classes, like I said, Rogue class. I think that's pretty darn good. When we steal our opponent's stuff, we can use our opponent's stuff to keep stealing more stuff, so that's pretty darn useful for us. So yeah, I think a deck, I was going to say, I almost said it, but I didn't. A deck that you have, when you're a theft deck, you really want your own things to be able to draw you cards as well. You don't want to be reliant on other people's decks doing the thing for you because you never know what you're going to get. And a lot of the stuff you're going to get isn't going to synergize with any of the other stuff that you get from your other opponents and such. So you really want to be able to draw cards on yourself or by way of your opponents being, not paying for things or whatever, that sort of thing. You don't want to sit there and not draw cards or not have ramp for yourself and things like that. You don't want to, not play the game. I'm not going to talk about the interaction that's in here either, really, or the removal and all that sort of stuff, because, again, it's, fairly obvious sort of stuff. Couple of artifacts that I do want to quickly touch on. There's some stuff that was in here that I was kind of going, well, is that really helping us, or is that really that useful? I don't know. Conjurer's Closet, we can steal stuff and we can flicker stuff, so we can keep it. And that sort of thing. And it does, help us with some ETBs and things like that, or things that tap and whatnot and things like that, so that we want to untap them so that we can steal more things. So it can help with that, and such. So there are things like that, and it does kill some things when we flicker something. So that's all right, that helps us out sometimes. So I don't know, it's there, it's alright, it does some stuff. There's Thassa's in here as well, doing the same sort of thing. So I'm not 100% sure that they're the best, but yeah, at least it comes back under our control. We don't want the ones that put them under their owner's control, because otherwise we just lose the thing, unless it's our own thing. But yeah, we don't usually. I don't think you really want to do that. 1,000 Year Elixir. I think I cut a lot of the tapping and untapping sort of stuff from this list, because I was just like, well, yeah, we can effectively copy our commander's ability or do it again or whatever and that sort of thing and steal more things, but those things are going to die. So unless we're like got ways to keep them, like we might want them to die, but like most of the time, I think you kind of want to keep them so that you can do more stuff with them and that sort of thing. There are times you want to kill them or whatever, but still, like when somebody has something threatening, you want that threatening thing, so it's yours now. But like it gives haste effectively to abilities, so, and there are some times again that you want to untap your things and do it again or whatever, so that it is useful. Or you can flicker a thing and that sort of stuff. So again, there are those little edge cases that I think are, worthwhile thinking about. I'll go through a lot of this, because a lot of the stuff that I changed from the list, as I said, Axial, Axviad, Mind Flail, steal stuff from the bottom of opponents' decks. Like, this is the sort of thing that we want to do. We just want to steal stuff. Like, everything that's in this deck now, instead of just being like, I untap my commander, or do this or do that with my commander, etc., is now I'm going to steal stuff, or I'm planning to steal stuff. So Athreos, put coin counters on things. When they die, you gain control of them. So we steal those things. The big Leer of Wills, we steal stuff again. Tap it to steal stuff. Like everything in here, I'm not going to go through everything, but everything in here, like, steal stuff from one place or another, or copies it, or gets us an advantage. So or gives us mana, or gives us protections, that sort of thing, like Cure and that, and Mom and things like that. The Spectre, stealing stuff from people's libraries. Notion Thief, just drawing cards. Send Triplets is just gross, steal stuff again. Like the Lord, more card draw in that. Thief of Sanity is great, stealing stuff. It's only one thing per turn, but still, it's all right. The Amalgam and Kingpin, they're all just like a lot of theft stuff, and that's what we want. We really, really want a lot of theft stuff. We want, again, like I said, our own abilities to draw and pressure the board, because a lot of these things, well, not everything, but a lot of these things are big flyers and things like that and whatnot. So even if we're like shut out from or Shadow and Menace and things like that, or even little flyers like Mastermind and things like that, even if we're shut out of like really stealing our opponent's stuff, we have a bunch of flying things or evasive things that we can just poke people with, and gain that advantage for ourselves and start going, start going ham in there and start doing things, because we don't want to be sat back and not being able to be proactive and actually win the game ourselves, because that's the one big problem with a lot of theft decks. They're too reliant on opponents' stuff to win the game, and then you just get shut down because your opponents don't want you to steal their stuff. So, and that's kind of obvious. So it's not a very fun deck sort of to play against. It's a fun deck to play in some ways. I don't really find it fun, but that's just me. I know a lot of other people find it fun because they never know what they're going to get, and you do never know what you're going to get, but you've got to have other ways to bookend the game and not just sit there and go, well, if my things die, or if, my opponents have answers or whatever, and I don't have my answers, it's like, well, what am I going to do? You've got to have your own effects to draw your own cards, get your own ramp, and actually play the actual game, rather than just sitting there and going, well, I hope I can land one of my things to steal my opponent's stuff. You've got to actually be saying, okay, well, I'm just going to bop people with these flyers if I can't steal my opponent's stuff. Whatever. I'm going to get an advantage, and I'm going to try to win the game within my own deck. Yes, I can steal my opponent's stuff, but my deck can win by itself without having to steal opponent's stuff. and I just pick the best things my opponents have, so that I can keep going, keep the gas going effectively. So that is the idea. I just sort of swapped it around from trying to untap the commander or trying to copy the commander's ability, to being like, I'm actually going to be proactive and steal stuff with these other things. So I think that's much better because, even like your commander can easily get shut down and it's pretty much the only thing that does it. So copying that, having a bunch of these things that would copy its ability or whatever, or untap it to copy its ability effectively, means that, you're too over reliant on it. So once it's gone, it's sort of like, oh no, the game's over type thing. It's there and it's good and it's useful, and like there's a few commanders that you can pick for the commander of this deck, like send triplets or whatever, all that kind of stuff. But whatever, it doesn't really matter what the commander is, but this is what the person, Nathan chose. So, that's what I did. That's the list. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Hope you find it fun. I don't know. I won't if you ever play it against me, but don't play it against me. But yeah, hope you have enjoyed it, as I said, and you can let me know your thoughts down there in the comments below. I hope you will join me again in another one.